Are we live? Hi, let me know if you're seeing me. Hi, Kayla. Good to see you. Glad you're here. So what I wanted to do today was a live Write With Me session where I'm going to be writing a flash fiction and you can write with me or you can do your own thing. It's the same as doing writing sprints, but I wanted to get input from the audience on what I will be writing. So let me know, do you like to write a flash fiction or are you going to be working on your own thing? So I'm going to share my screen and show you the I'm going to be working from for this writing sprint. I'm going to be writing a flash fiction based on this image. So you can let me know if you're going to be writing along with me or if you're working on your own project and what it is you're working on if you want to share. So for my flash fictions, I usually do a poll asking the audience what it is they want to see in the flash fiction. Like, is our character here, is she a good person or a bad person? What is she doing? So you let me know, is she the good person or the bad person in this scenario? She has her gun drawn, looks like her finger's on the trigger. Is she confronting someone? Is she protecting someone? Great, Kayla, we can write this one together. So let me know your thoughts and your impressions on the picture first off. So what I'm seeing, I'm trying to catch what's in the background of this picture to see if there are any interesting details that I can take into account. There are shadowy figures sitting here beside her, and there's a bottle of, I'm guessing, whiskey. And in the back, this man in the back, he looks off. What is he? Is he human? Is he something else? Is this a typical Western or different kind of setting? My first impression was a Western cowgirl, but what what is your take on it? Yeah, that's a good take on it. She's protecting someone or something. She looks very serious, like she's made up her mind on what she's going to do next. And what she's going to do next may not be pleasant. And I'm still wondering about that man standing behind her. That looks somewhat off. What do you think? Who is that? So the main question to pin down about your character is who is she? Like what is her role here? What is her role in this setting? What kind of person is she? And who is she? What does she want? What is she going to do to get it? I'm trying to go through the steps I usually go through when I'm writing a flash fiction, and you can feel free to give your input at any time. So who is she? I don't see anything that indicates, like, if she had a sheriff badge, that would indicate maybe who she is. She's wearing a cross. I wonder if that's significant or just personally significant. Okay, so you're suggesting Kayla is protecting someone, and whatever is about to happen, she's already made up her mind, and anyone trying to dissuade her is going to fail. It looks like ghosts appearing in the dust, like maybe he's watching her. That's a possibility. Like maybe she's there to avenge the death of a loved one and that loved one is watching over her. Okay, so we have story coming in now. Okay, let's see what else we can take. Trying to find the details in the background that might help. The whole place looks kind of ethereal and ghostly. So is she really there? Thinking. Maybe she's wandering through the abandoned bar. This place was abandoned years ago and she's coming back and being haunted by these old memories. And she's working up, making up her mind to do something. And once she has made up her mind on that, nothing's going to stop her. What do you think? Okay, I think I have a story idea. Basically, the bar once belonged to her family, but they owed money to someone. Maybe her father owed money to someone, or just like gang bad people that you have in westerns. They came, they were extorting them. Maybe they burned down the bar, and her father and brother were killed, and those could be the shadowy figures around her. And so now, years later, she like ran away when she was a child, and now years later, she's come back. She's walking through it. She's seeing what it used to look like with the chandeliers and the carved walls. And so she's making up her mind to go after the people responsible for this, responsible for killing her father and brother. Yeah, a literal ghost town. Okay, so we have the beginnings of a plot. So we're gonna make this a flash fiction, less than 1,500 words. So do you want to start like the first writing sprint, or do you have any more thoughts you want to share on it? There might be a lag between YouTube and StreamYard, so I'll give it a minute to see if you have any more comments. I don't know much about Westerns, but they're often like tales of revenge or seeking justice outside of the law. I think that fits with the genre, doesn't it? Okay, sounds good. So we can start with the first writing sprint. And how long do you want to go for? 15 minutes? You can put how long you want to go for. We can go for 15, 20. Just start small with 10. Let me know. Could there be something important hidden? Maybe the ghosts are guiding her. That's one direction you could take it, yeah. Uh, Something I was thinking, like maybe the ghosts are trying to dissuade her, trying to tell her not to go for revenge, to go live her life and be safe. They don't want her to get hurt too. But she's not listening to that. She's set on revenge. But if the ghosts are guiding her to something important, maybe there's a mystery hidden somewhere and they're trying to guide her to the clues. But you know, they're ghosts. You can't like just hear them or see them. So it's subtle. But that's an interesting way to go. So you ready to go for a writing sprint? Let me know. 25 minutes. Let's go for 20 first. We'll probably have more than one writing sprint. I'm going to set my timer for 20, and I'm going to mute while we're doing the sprint, okay? So 20 minutes to start writing the flash fiction. Ready? Go. Okay, time is up. How did you do? Let me know what word count you got for that. I got 351 words. I started writing the story, like setting the scene, and then I started getting ideas for how this would be a bigger story. And so I ended up kind of writing a small synopsis of it, or at least a small setup of it. So I'm definitely going to be adding that to my story idea binder, something to explore later. How many words did you get, Kayla? I have to count them. You were writing by hand? Yeah, I like writing by hand when I'm doing like brainstorming. It just helps me to get my thoughts out better, especially since I can jump all over the page to add things wherever I need to add them. Sometimes I write my flash fictions longhand in my notebook, and then when I'm putting it onto my computer is when I can edit it properly. Right now I'm writing on my computer though. But what I have so far is like a setup. She's there in what used to be her family's bar. Like they would have the bar attached to the house, so it was one big building. And what I have is that she's remembering what it used to be like. She's remembering working in the bar as a waitress. Her father behind the bar was watching her, making sure nobody mistreated her. Her brother was the sheriff in this town, her older brother, and she had a little brother. Not sure where he was, but she has a little brother somewhere. Would you like me to share like the synopsis of the bigger story that I started thinking of just then? So what I have, her name is Steen, and when she was a teenager, she snuck out of the house one night to meet her boyfriend, and her troublesome little brother followed her. So when she caught him, she had to take him back. They come home to find that the house and bar are on fire with their mother, father, and their brother trapped inside. So with her family dead, she and her little brother are sent to live with relatives in another town. Years pass, and when they're older, her brother gets a chance to go to a school in the city. So now that he's off at school, she is now free to go back to their hometown and find out what happened and take her revenge. And so that's like the setup for it. I have actual ideas for the story that just started pulling out from there. So I've made notes on those. I'm going to add these to my story idea binder because I like the sound of this story. But if it is something that I'm going to write, I would have to research Westerns more if I want to keep with the Western theme or the Western look. And plot twist, her boyfriend from back then, it was his family that burned down the bar. Her brother was the sheriff, so they killed him so that somebody else could take his place and they could do whatever it is they wanted to do. I'm going to come up with like them actually having a plot somewhere. But those are the points that I came up in the last 20 minutes. What do you think? I haven't quite decided yet if like the ghosts in the bar are telling her to seek revenge or telling her not to, or if they're trying to help her find something. Maybe they're trying to help her solve the mystery of exactly who did this and why. Yeah, it's probably the mystery aspect. And also I'm taking into account like what I see her wearing in the picture, like maybe that cross she's wearing belonged to her mother, the hat belonged to her brother, the red scarf belonged to maybe her brother's wife, and so all these things are significant to her. And the gun is maybe her father's gun, and she's saving the bullets for each of the men responsible. Sounds good. Thank you, Kayla. So what did you get done in the 20-minute sprint? Did you have like the beginnings or openings of your story? Of your flash fiction? For my flash fiction, I think I have the ending. It's going to be reminiscing on these memories, going to be hinting at the mystery, and then at the end, it's time to go to work. I have it more poetically put. And yeah, we can do another 20-minute sprint in a minute. Okay, so are you ready for another 20-minute sprint, Kayla? I'm going to try to like finish the points in this story. I'll have to edit it properly later. Yeah, another 20-minute sprint, then maybe I can read what I have so far. Let me know in the comments, please. Okay, ready for another 20 minutes? Starting now. Okay, time is up. I got some characterization for the people I'm picturing for this story. The story itself, I still need to flesh out more, but I know more about the characters, which is always, always useful. How about you, Kayla? How did you do? Sorry, I'm still tweaking mine here, but I can leave what I have, I think. What I have is kind of a look back at how her life used to be, and then it moves into she's about to do something drastic. I need to put in like a bit more dialogue to give it some life and character. I did all right, but came up with more than one way the story could go. Yes, that happens to me all the time. That's why for my flash fictions, I like using like the polls in my Instagram to get what the audience would like to see. Do you want to tell me a bit about the way your story is diverging? Okay, I have a little more on mine. I'm still tweaking some here. I'm enjoying this story. What I'd want to do with this, because of what I just add, I need to put in a little bit more backstory of what she was doing the night her family's home burnt down, just to get the context of the story. But I do like how this is shaping up. It just needs like proper editing and a little more added to like give the emotional weight I wanted to have. In your new opening, Annie's protecting a little boy who's hiding behind the crates. Okay, why is he hiding though? Who is she protecting him from? And also let me know if you would want me to read what I have. It's very rough, but I like it so far. Going to keep working on it later today. You'd like to hear what I have. Okay, how about we do like another short sprint just so I can clean it up a little bit? So 10 minutes? That sound good? We can do a 10-minute sprint, so just add a little bit more to mine and then I can read it. Oh, an abusive father is what the boy is hiding from. Okay. So is Annie in your story, is she law enforcement or just someone stepping up? I like that aspect. I'd like to know a little bit more about your character, Annie, if you want to share that. Oh, she's the mother? Oh, I love that. Now that's different. That's different from what I was thinking. So Annie is the mother protecting her son from the abusive father. Yeah, that's different from what I was thinking. I'd like to hear how that story goes. But let's do one more short sprint. I'm going to set it for just 10 minutes, okay? Starting now. Okay, time is up. Okay, I'm seeing more on your story, Kayla. Now she's having to confront him. Okay, so it's a close family story then, right? But I can read what I have. She's determined to. Yeah, that's one's very relatable story, yes. Okay, so I'll read mine then. Christine leaned against the old counter of her daddy's bar. It had been a long time since she'd been home. The initials she and her brother had scratched into the counter were still there, like nothing had changed. The chandeliers with their pretty gold light hovered above her head. Mama had nearly choked at the cost, but Daddy insisted they gave life to the place. He was right. This place was the heartbeat of New Haven. Kids could play out front without concern until their mamas picked them up and their daddies came in for a pint of their signature brew, the best whiskey in town. Christine could still smell it, along with the tobacco smoke from the oldies who sat in the back and gambled away a week's wages. Christine would work the tables after her schooling. Mama thought the new book learning that young girls were doing was a waste of time. You'd do better to marry a good guy, did she say? She was right about one thing. Daddy was a good man. He knew any daughter of his was no fool who couldn't learn from books. So she'd wait the tables in the bar after her schooling, her daddy's eyes on her, ready to chase away any young man who sniffed too close, or any of the oldies who treated her like less than the lady he said she was. There were good people in this town, but drink did things to a man. Daddy's rifle under the cover far out of reach. The memories melted around her as the warm glow of the chandeliers faded to black and the walls dissolved into ash, the bitter taste of it burning the back of her throat. Or was that tears? She didn't cry anymore like the little girl she once was. Even then, she'd held her tears so her little brother could cry his. Tears were all they had when everything else had turned to ash, with only a few remnants left behind. Her sister-in-law's red scarf that she'd borrowed that night, trying to look as grown-up and refined as Maggie. Her brother's hat that he'd left at the sheriff's station earlier that day. His best friend had given it back to her. Her mama's cross, which she only ever took off to set on her bedside table at night. Christine took it as a sign that the cross had survived the flames. Only the cross and her daddy's 6-shot revolver. 6 shots, 6 men, 6 lives taken that night. She hadn't forgotten the 2 yard dogs that she's raised as pups either. 6 lives to be repaid. Like Thomas always said when he popped his hat on in the morning, it was time to get to work. So that is what I have so far. What do you think? What do you think of the tone and character so far? Like I said, there are some blank spots filled in, like I need to fill in what was she doing that night? How does she know that it was murder? Where was the little brother? Because I only mentioned him once. So I need to fill in some of the blanks and maybe this worked on. I found that I was very much able to flush out the story more when I added dialogue between that character and someone else who she either thought was there or happened to show up. Sounds great. It's going to be a juicy story. I hope so. I hope so. This one, I want to like write this snippet of it as a flash fiction, and then I'm going to put like the larger story points that I've thought of into my story idea binder so I can come back to them later. And I probably will write that story eventually. And how are you feeling about yours, Kayla? Do you think you had some progress on your story? For mine, I want to, like I said, do more research on Westerns, what's expected in that kind of genre. I recently bought a book, Pistol Daisy by Natalia Leigh. That one is a Western, so I can read that for research. Heard good reviews on it. I haven't read it yet. I have it on Kindle. See, I want to do research by reading other Westerns similar to what I'm thinking of, and also like some research on actually the time period and what was expected there. Yes, you think so. So that's for progress on your story. Great. I'm very glad you could join me, Kayla. Thank you. So I have to actually go work on something for my other job. And then later tonight, I'll probably work more on this story, try to finish up the flash fiction. And this one I will probably post to my website. I'm setting up a members area where I can put my flash fictions and have them available for people who sign up. So thank you for joining me tonight, Kayla. Just saw your comment. Your uncle used to watch Westerns. Do you like Westerns? My daddy likes Westerns. He loves those some of the old black and white movies, some of the more modern Westerns. He likes that genre. It was fun. Yes, it was. I like having like interactive sessions where people can brainstorm or troubleshoot stories together. It's just interesting to see what other take people can get on theirs. Like mine is this revenge story about this young woman who was wronged and missing her family. Yours is about this protective mother who I'm very interested to hear the rest of that. If you write it, you can let me know. I'd be happy to critique it, and maybe you can critique mine as well. Yeah, it's an interesting kind of genre. And like I said, I don't know much about it, but I was reading something about Westerns earlier. And oh, by the way, the artist who did this piece, I will credit them in the description of this video. But anyway, yeah, Western is a kind of genre that sticks out. It's not really similar to anything else. It's interesting how you can cross it with other genres, though. Oh, you thought that more people than you would come. Well, this was the first time that I'm doing this, and I didn't really tell people beforehand because it's the first time I'm going live on YouTube. And so I was a little bit nervous. So I wanted to just try it, make sure everything is working properly. If other people were there, great. If not, I could just write my piece and talk about flash fictions. But I'm planning to do another one next week, and a friend of mine will probably be coming live with me. So I will be sure to promote it so that more people are aware of it beforehand. But thank you very much for coming, Kayla. So I am going to sign off now because, like I said, I have some other work to do. Thank you again, and you have a good night.